Hello and welcome to what will effectively be a ramble about Civilization 7. This is a game that I've been waiting for a rather long time. I've been playing Civ since Civ 5, so obviously I'm not as, as much of a veteran of the franchise as other players out there, but I do think I've been playing this game series for over a decade now, so I think that I can have things to say about it. And yeah. Honestly, I've been playing Civ 7, it's currently the 7th as of the time of recording this, and yeah, I've played about 15 hours of the game on Steam so far. In my basic overview of the game is that it is a fun game, genuinely is enjoyable. However, I am someone that genuinely loved Civilization 6. I prefer Civ 6 over Civ 5, especially with the DLC Gathering Storms. That DLC plus base game Civ is way better than Civ 5 with all the DLCs, in my opinion. And it brings us into Civ 7. And Civ 7, and I'm saying Civ an awful lot, is incredibly interesting, I guess is the best word to put with it. It's not that I'm disappointed in the game itself, it's more so that it's definitely a hybrid with some added on extras. So it's a hybrid of 5 and 6. They've taken away other mechanics and then added in new ones. I'm personally not a big fan of the change with builders. I find it a little bit odd. It feels weird to play, and if anything, kind of becomes really annoying really quickly. An example of this for you is when it comes to population size. Every time that your population increases, you can put that so-called population towards a specific area, a specific district, for example. Later on in the game, when you pretty much have used up most of them, any increases will probably negatively impact your happiness, but it will increase things like science production. Now, instead of having, for example, districts like you had within Civ 6, and then with that, builders that can then do things as well, it means that especially when you have a lot of cities, and for example, my first Civ game of Civ 7, I ended up with about 25 cities nearing the end of my game. I didn't actually complete that game purely because, if I'm honest, I was getting kind of bored for the first time ever in late game Civ, and I chose to take a step away, and I've started a new game to see if, going into it, now having some more knowledge about how to play the game will be helpful here. In regards to the population and the way that builders and stuff work, where builders don't exist and the population can grow really quickly, and especially if you've got a lot of cities, it becomes so annoying having to, every other turn, if not at times every single turn, hit grow population, choose a specific area. And a part of me kind of wishes that you could just automate this feature, in all honesty. I think it's something that's, good for, the first, I would say, the first age, maybe the second age as well, maybe. But once you get out of the exploration age, this should be something that you could just tick on a box that allows it to automate itself so you don't have to constantly be looking at it and being dragged away to see it all the time. Now, when it comes to other things in regards to the game, first of all, I'm going to join the bandwagon of people talking about the UI being awful. And again, I actually do really like this game. And the issue is, if I'm honest, is that I'm enjoying playing the game, but I'm very skeptical about my reasonings for enjoying the game. It's the same reason I have critiques of people playing new Assassin's Creed games, is that a lot of creators will say how amazing it is. Shadows is one of the first games where people have been given access to play it, where people are being actually skeptical about the game. They don't trust Ubisoft, so they're waiting properly on the game to come out to give a thorough opinion. And this is kind of where I think I need to go with this game. I can say right now that I'm enjoying my time playing Civilization 7, but I don't know how much of that is due to just, me being so hyped for this game to come out. I was really excited and whatnot, or if it's because the game is actually good. It sounds really weird to say, but I can't really pinpoint anything that I would say is overly amazing. I think that the change towards having generals and, you're able to actually create fleets and armies is really cool. armies actually feel like armies in this game, unlike Civ 5 or 6. And I just think that they chose to take a step towards something that I don't like generally, which is bringing happiness back into the game. It's always been the pet peeve for me with Civ 5. I never liked the happiness function, purely because a lot of the time it just seemed really at a whim. At times of like, you could be going like a load of turns, be fine, and then you go to war, especially in Civ 7, and you just lose all your happiness. And I get it. It's like, people don't want to be at war. However, when you're like, a civilization and you are the aggressor in the war, I don't understand why if you have like a militaristic government, the happiness scale would like drop so much to go from like 300 plus to like 63, and then most your cities be miserable. And yeah, when it comes to the UI, I don't like it. I think the lack of categorization within the categories themselves is really annoying to look at. It doesn't feel very much like you can truly do kind of like what you would do in Civ 6, for example, where you could sit there and heavily focus on specific things per city and have cities actually function as, their own hubs for certain things. I liked that about Civ 6 because not only did it feel more realistic to life, because not all cities are going to be like this amazing thing where they're doing everything, but also it allows far less complication with what is even worth pursuing and what isn't. But one thing that I actually do want to talk about that I really do like, I actually think this is probably one of the best new things about this game, is the way that diplomacy works and the way that cities work. So diplomacy, I do wish that loyalty existed in the same way that it does within the Gathering Storms DLC, as I think it works really well within Civ 6. However, I really like the way that diplomacy works in this game. As when you are being diplomatic, you can, bring city-states in to become their own thing, or make them join your empire. Or, you can use it to economically cripple an enemy. And it allows far more option towards, the political side of Civ games, which most of them have lacked to not really give you full deep dives within. Then you've got the cities and towns feature, which I like. There is also a caveat to this, and I'll get into that in a second. But what this actually does that I really like is it just makes it, one, far more, realistic. Not all cities are built from the ground up to be cities. Very few have ever done that. Most of them are more modernized cities that have been done for that certain purpose. But within this game, you go from towns, you can then pay to have them go up into cities, and it can even be beneficial for you to, at times, especially let's say you start going into like an era where you've got tons of cities. It can actually be worth holding back so that in your next section, you can be prepared for when a happiness reduction is going to happen. It's only going to happen in cities and all these things, and it kind of allows you to be a bit more strategic with it. But that then comes in with a caveat, which is I don't like that when eras change, you can literally lose city status of loads of the cities in the game. Like, why? It's such a, odd feature. I don't see the point in its existence, and it just seems really, out of place. Why is it now just a town again? Why is Rome, my capital, that then ends up becoming Barcelona, and then eventually I chose to become America and I had Washington? Why on earth was Roma, the capital of my entire empire to begin with, that was a city, became a town? That's not how this works. It has 32 population. It makes no sense. And I think in this short ramble about Civilization 7, so far anyway, is that I do really enjoy Civilization games. However, I do think this game needs some work to it to bring it into a more thorough and fleshed out experience. Especially considering the standardized systems as well. I'm used to playing Civ 6 on huge maps and having loads of AI to go up against. The standard map is tiny. It's genuinely small. The standard amount of AI is tiny. And it's just weird. That's the best way of putting it. But yeah, I'm going to end off this ramble here. I don't even know if this will become a video. It's going to go up on the second channel. I was originally intending to do a full deep dive, not deep dive, but do a full honest thoughts that I would normally do for games that I'm genuinely interested in and upload it to the main Exiled channel. But yeah, I'm not really feeling it right now. So yeah, anyway, with that all being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.